the tagline really being that let's go big, let's be ambitious, and policy and digital technology solutions can play a significant role in that respect. Over. Thank you.
So Sanjay, lovely to speak to you today. Really appreciate it. And before we go into any other questions, I'd love it if we could just explore a little bit more about yourself and kind of the person behind the tech, so to speak, and your role at IBM.
Hello, Sally. Good to meet you at COP26. And thank you so much for taking time for this conversation. My role in IBM is I'm the global managing partner for the sustainability practice with IBM Consulting. And basically, I help and collaborate with clients to help them achieve their net zero targets and meet their goals on SDG on the journey to sustainability.
Fantastic. And obviously, you know, we've been meeting at COP26, also the Social Innovation Forum as well. It's kind of brought to the fore, you know, all the different factors that have been involved in heightening digital transformation across the world. Obviously the pandemic, but also things like governance and conscious consumerism as well. How has that affected your role at IBM and IBM's role on sustainability more broadly? And what have you found to be the biggest drivers of change?
Great question, Sally. I look at the sustainability, the focus on sustainability today is the first time I really realized coming at COP26 is that countries, companies, and consumers are aligned on their goal to achieve net zero and sustainability, specifically around the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal. Because that's what you can see. I mean, we both have seen that that's been the major focus for this COP26. And I like that. You know, you have a goal. If you have a goal, you can measure it and then you can achieve it.
Exactly.
To me, we had the Industrial Revolution. We had the digital revolution. And now we have the sustainability revolution at the speed of digital. And I think that says it all. Because 2 years ago, just even pre-pandemic, when you talk to CEOs, sustainability was not at the core of business strategy. Today, 100% of CEOs who we speak to say that unless they have sustainability at their core of business strategy, they are not going to be sustainable as a business. You did not have roles such as Chief Sustainability Officer. I mean, that was not a role which was there even a few years ago. But today, if you look at every Fortune 100, Fortune 500 company needs to have and must have a Chief Sustainability Officer reporting directly into the CEO and to the board. And similarly, IBM is obviously an organization which evolves, adapts, and is very innovative to what the market and the client needs are. And we have now built the sustainability practice by leveraging on our experience of the last 50 years of what we have done on our journey to sustainability over the last few years of what we have done with clients such as IBM Food Trust, TradeLens, and what we're doing with WBCSD. Learnings from that, what it was not called fashionable as sustainability. And now we're taking all of those learnings and we've brought together what we call our 6 circle of solutions on sustainability. And that's the offering we're taking to clients to help them meet their SDG goals.
That's fantastic. I love your point there about this is an ecosystem coming together and the drivers of change are coming, you know, from within, from IBM, across partners, across consumers themselves being far more aware and, you know, demanding that transparency. And I think that the pandemic as well, people have questioned, you know, where are things coming from? It's helped everybody kind of pause to reflect. So all of these things have come together. I think that's great. And you're absolutely right. That heightened visibility within organizations, the roles you mentioned, but also things around measurement as well and transparency in that area, which I'm sure we'll come on to later on as well. All these factors are coming together. So it's a real contagion of change in a very, very positive way. I couldn't agree more strongly. And focusing on that a little bit more, you know, obviously we've had the Paris Goals 2050 that are put into place, the SDGs 2030 as well. For you, what does this look like in practice in terms of delivering on these aspirations? I'd love to share a bit more about some of the projects you started to discuss there and kind of how you're using your sphere of influence as a leader to help other clients along their journey to sustainability as well.
Right. And thank you, Sally. I think what, as you mentioned, is what we have been able to do with our clients is a lot of what IBM has been able to do with ourselves. So talking about what IBM has been able to achieve, first of all, very proud that while we are here, our CEO, Arvind, has received the award from His Royal Highness Prince of Wales. This is the inaugural Terra Carta Award, which you're aware, and we are one of the few companies in the world which have achieved, and got this award for our long-standing commitment to sustainability. And let's talk a little bit. I mean, we talk about sustainability. We are a 110-year company, so talking about how to sustain oneself in the ever-changing global environment, in the ever-changing business environment, been through multiple world wars. We were the ones in the moon, in the rocket to the moon, and now we will be partnering with our clients to save the planet. So I'm very confident. And we have been, in the last 50 years, clearly shown leadership in the sustainability space, as we have learned the fundamental truth that achieving environmental goals requires transparent and measurable targets with collaboration with our partners, with our suppliers, with our clients, and with our stakeholders and employees. And truly not do any greenwashing, but show authentic leadership in that space. And Arvind is clearly showing that, absolutely. And earlier this year, we also announced, and our Chief Sustainability Officer, Wayne Balta, who I work with very closely, 21 new environmental goals that will continue IBM's legacy of environmental leadership, including our commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. So we've signed the climate pledge with companies like Amazon and the others, but we are one of the few ones in the world which have put the target for 2030. And what sets these goals apart is IBM's disclosure of a clear and realistic path to achieving these SDG and ESG goals. And that learning over the last 50 years is what we are taking to our clients in terms of how to reduce energy consumption, use more renewable electricity, reduce and better manage the waste created and water consumed in our operations, address biodiversity and improve our supply chain. All of these learnings, Sally, is what we are taking to our clients in the sixth circle of solutions as part of a sustainability practice.
That's brilliant. I love that. And your point there about that transparency for around 2030, I think is an absolutely key one. That's what everybody wants to see. It's a commitment, but with accountability at the same time. I think that's a game changer. I couldn't, stress that more strongly. I love that. I think really, really valuable. And another thing as well, as part of this journey of supporting clients in the ecosystem more broadly, obviously we've got the role of technology, but also the role of data specifically. We've got this huge data volume. It's continually growing, isn't it? We've got this convergence.
About what are some of the achievements for IBM. And I think, as I mentioned earlier this year, we also added, 21 new updated and refreshed environmental goals. I think coming to this COP, for the first time, I'm seeing countries, companies, and consumers get aligned to the one single goal of 1.5 degrees Celsius, right? And I think that's a great, step forward. Within IBM itself, we see that countries and companies and consumers are rising to the challenge, and we are partnering with some of our clients to find solutions and build platforms which accelerate journey to sustainability. So let me give you a few examples, and I know you attended some of our sessions. I was there on about 6 or 7 panels with clients such as Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, with HSBC on fast infra, with Resonant, or another client. But let me share you 2 concrete examples. And since we're in Europe, let me start with a European city and an energy partner. We have teamed up to improve access to renewable energy options through real-time adjustments of cooling, heating, and ventilation equipment. And this energy flexibility results in reducing carbon output and is also helping to change consumer and business behavior. I think behavioral change with leveraging data democratization is the key, right? The minute you democratize data in the ecosystem and show by building some of these platforms, leveraging AI, blockchain, hybrid cloud, it changes the consumer behavior and it changes the partners in the ecosystem because they start doing, they start trusting companies and sharing the data. The second solid example, which is close to my heart or close to my stomach more, is the example of IBM Food Trust, right? Where we have developed with one of the global retailers in the world, which is an important client for us, an AI and blockchain-based food traceability solution. Earlier, when there was an outbreak in the US, it used to take this organization 6 days to find out the source of where or which farm the outbreak was from. Today, we have brought that 6 days down to 2.2 seconds, right? And that amount of traceability across and responsible sourcing across the supply chain helps you not only reduce food wastage, saves you millions of dollars, builds in consumer confidence in the brand, but also improve food safety, unlock the supply chain efficiencies, which we are all facing today, minimize wastage. So it meets a lot of the SDG goals. So just two concrete examples where we have actually worked with clients and delivered technology solutions to business problems on their journey to sustainability.
Fantastic. Now that statistic you mentioned just now says 1,000 things. It really does. That's really super impressive in terms of accelerating that innovation curve. And the other thing about this as well is delivering shared value benefits. So all this work to support those sustainability outcomes is also creating better productivity, efficiency, job satisfaction, reduced churn. Everybody benefits, don't they? When you have examples like that, it's superb.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you look at, I think, as I mentioned, is for the these are kind of answers to SDG goals, which are operational, right? I mean, operational efficiency, leveraging data is important. And the other classic one is renowned, and it's very well known what we're doing with Maersk around trade lanes. Responsible computing, digital platform, which we've created again on blockchain, leveraging AI, hybrid cloud. I mean, that solution addresses 4 or 5 key goals. And if you look at what is this done, because container and logistics is one of the areas for focus across the world on GHG carbon emissions. And the containerization, the traffic today is about 12 trillion USD dollars. Today, trade lanes has about 60% of that on trade lanes, about $7 trillion is there. There are 175 organizations, including shippers, carriers, governments, trade authorities, which are on this platform. 25 million of trade documents have gone through, 50 million of containers are processed. And this is the power of leveraging technology, responsible computing to reduce carbon emissions across the supply chain.